In 2015, Retro Gamer magazine asked readers to list their top 10 video games for the magazine's 150 Greatest Games of All Time feature. Coming in at number 1 on almost 20% of all ballots was Super Mario World. It was a landslide victory, and for good reason. Super Mario World not only showed off the new bells and whistles of the Super Nintendo, it redefined what Super Mario games could be. The goal was no longer to get the high score and defeat Bowser. It was to explore an entirely new world, finding hidden paths and secret levels. Mario had an arsenal of new power-ups, moves, and friends. But above all, the game gave players more freedom than ever before. Super Mario World is widely considered the apex of 2D platforming. But it was a masterpiece made under challenging circumstances. For the first time, new competition threatened Nintendo's position in the video game market. The Super Mario World development team had to learn new hardware, the 16-bit Super Famicom, or Super Nintendo, and they had to learn it quickly in order for the game to launch with the new console. The result was the best Super Mario game yet, and arguably, ever. It helped ensure Nintendo stayed competitive in a new, more powerful era of video games. This is the story of Super Mario World.
It's about time for the Famicom to start dropping off. I think people are getting tired of it. Hiroshi Yamauchi.
In the summer of 1988, Nintendo President Hiroshi Yamauchi made a stunning declaration. The Famicom era was coming to an end. Nintendo's Family Computer Console, or Famicom for short, was first released in Japan in July of 1983. By 1988, Nintendo had sold 12 million systems and untold millions of games, giving them a 90% share of the Japanese video game market. But Yamauchi had reason to be concerned. Sales of the Famicom had peaked in 1986 and were slowly dropping. In an exclusive interview with Japanese magazine Touch, Yamauchi expressed disappointment in the Famicom's recent sales numbers and admitted that the next generation of consoles had arrived. There was new competition in the video game market. In October of 1987, NEC, a massive electronics corporation, threw its hat in the ring with the PC Engine console. NEC boasted about the technological superiority of its system and planned to release a CD-ROM attachment in the future. The PC Engine appealed to teenagers and young adults. In just 2 months, NEC shipped more than 500,000 consoles. Nintendo was also keeping tabs on Sega. Sega was planning to launch their new console, the Mega Drive, in October of 1988. Sega boasted their new system would be capable of more than just playing video games. It would have a modem, a printer, and more. The Mega Drive was also the first 16-bit video game console. Sega proudly slapped a 16-bit label on their system. All of a sudden, Nintendo's 8-bit Famicom seemed underpowered and outdated. But Yamauchi had a surprise. In the interview with Touch magazine, he announced that Nintendo was shifting focus to their next-generation console, the 16-bit Super Famicom. Yamauchi had been teasing the system since 1987, not coincidentally, a month before NEC released the PC Engine. Now, in 1988, Yamauchi was ready to reveal more details, not coincidentally, a month before Sega released the Mega Drive. The news was more than an announcement. It was a warning for potential buyers. Don't waste your money. Nintendo's latest console will be available soon. The Super Famicom was much more powerful than its predecessor. It had a custom 16-bit CPU, more memory, a custom Sony sound chip, more than 32,000 colors to choose from, a higher max resolution, stereo sound, and more. But Yamauchi believed looking at only the technical aspects of a console was naive. The strength of a video game system was in the software. And the Super Famicom, he boasted, would allow developers to make games they'd never thought possible. Yamauchi revealed that Nintendo was currently prototyping several games themselves, and one of them was Super Mario Bros. 4. It was a surprising announcement, mainly because Nintendo hadn't even released Super Mario Bros. 3. Over the past summer, Mario creator Shigeru Miyamoto and his team within Nintendo's Entertainment Analysis and Development Group were wrapping up Super Mario Bros. 3. Nintendo planned to release the game in October of 1988. Miyamoto considered Super Mario Bros. 3 the definitive Mario game on the Famicom, and the true sequel to the original Super Mario Bros. It was 10 times the size of the first game, with 8 massive worlds containing 90 levels and an array of new power-ups. Super Mario Bros. 3 also utilized a multi-memory controller chip on the cartridge that pushed the Famicom hardware to its limits. By the end of development, Miyamoto's team was exhausted. He believed they, quote, put everything they had into it. But there was no time to rest. The higher-ups at Nintendo gave the team a new directive: make Super Mario Bros. 4 for the Super Famicom, and have it ready by launch. Making Super Mario Bros. 4 a launch title was a no-brainer for Nintendo. Super Mario Bros. Was easily the most popular series on the Famicom and its international counterpart, the Nintendo Entertainment System. Making a new Super Mario game for Nintendo's new 16-bit console was a surefire way to sell hardware. But with new hardware to learn and a tight deadline, the team needed more resources. So they grew in size, adding additional programmers, testers, and artists. They also brought back veterans. Of the 16-plus staff members assigned to Super Mario Bros. 4, 9 worked on Super Mario Bros. 3. Among them was Toshihiko Nakago. Nakago was a programmer from Systems Research and Development, or SRD, an independent development company with an office located conveniently inside Nintendo's Kyoto headquarters. Nakago served as the director of programming for Super Mario Bros. 4. Koji Kondo.